All right, 7:49 here for this morning. I'm meteorologist Ross Sell. We've got an update on the extreme cold and, of course, that snowstorm also on the way. Here's a look right now at the satellite picture across the region. And when I say region, it's really more of the country there. And we do have, again, right now that swirl there off of the California coast, a pipeline of moisture here working its way. And now across, I'll zoom out even more, but you can basically see go clear out here. There's just a pipeline of moisture as you work your way across the ocean there, and then as you kind of work your way back into our area, you can see how this is moving over the Pacific. It'll pick up Gulf moisture, and this is colliding again with all of that cold air, of course, we've got situated across the area here. Let's track the very latest with this storm. There's been some slight changes overnight, very small, and the biggest one here is just that the storm looks like it comes in a little later. It's a little slower. So it starts around midnight Saturday night going into Sunday morning, which means through the day Saturday, we're in great shape here all across the area. Here's a look at 7 p.m. Saturday, snow starting downstate, but here at home, we're still all right. As we get into midnight and after, it's all snow pretty much all the time. And there could be some different waves here and pulses of energy move through where the snow will lighten up. It'll get heavier at times, but generally speaking through the day there on Sunday is when we're going to see that heavier snow develop and push on through across the area. And this will continue into Sunday evening and will come to an end as we head towards late Sunday night going into early Monday morning. It tapers down to light snow and then cold air to follow. Now, the big thing is that it's going to be cold, really cold before and after the storm, but even during the storm, we don't warm up much at all. This is very unusual for us to have a storm where temperatures are locked into the mid-teens with that snow falling. You can see that there on Predictor with, again, those waves of snow pushing throughout the area for Sunday afternoon. And you see another one filling in Sunday evening going into early Monday morning. So again, a lot to watch and track as we go forward. As it stands right now, I believe most of the area here will be looking at high snow amounts. I guess 4 to 6 inches is our lowest amount, and that's already high enough. So everyone dealing with several inches of accumulation most likely. 4 to 6 inches expected from Hillsdale over to Adrian and Bryan. 6 to 8 inches in Toledo to Bowling Green, Napoleon and Fremont and Port Clinton. South and east of Toledo, the highest amounts in our local area with 8 to 10 inches possible in Upper Sandusky, Tiffin and Norwalk. So those higher totals there expected south and east of Toledo. And even as you go downstate, there will likely be areas around a foot of snow or slightly more. So pretty much the entire state of Ohio being impacted quite a bit by this. Now, with that said, we're on the northern edge of the high snow amounts. So if this storm were to shift south, those amounts are going to go down. If it goes north, those amounts are going to go up. And there's still wiggle room in that storm track by about 50 miles. It could go either way. So we'll continue to watch it and fine tune it if anything changes with the storm track. But again, right now, looking at 6 inches plus for the vast majority of the area. And along with it, we'll get some gusty winds here, trying to move in off of Lake Erie. This is not blizzard criteria or anything like that, but it is going to be enough with the dry, fluffy snow to lead to blowing and drifting snow late Sunday and going into Monday. Those winds they're going to change direction more out of the north to northwest, but again, they will stay up for us altogether. All right, here's a look at that updated weekend travel timeline. And you get into the yellows, slight issues out there on the roads as we get past midnight there on Saturday. And as we work our way up into those morning hours there, on Sunday, you can see conditions getting worse. I think the worst conditions will be Sunday afternoon, evening through Monday morning. I really think even as the storm winds down, it's going to take some time before we can really get out there and safely kind of navigate those roads here. The cold and the wind going to be two other factors locking all that in. All right, for today, 8 degrees and dropping. Right now we're at 10. I think over the next hour we get to 8. By 7 p.m. we're around 0. So it's not exactly a trend that you want to see there, feeling like 15 to 25 below. Tonight down to 10 below 0, coldest night in 5 years on the way. And for tomorrow, 7 for the high. Very cold, but it's also the calm before the storm with lighter winds and also that sunshine here that will be beaming in as well. First alert 7-day forecast showing the heavy snow over the weekend, Sunday primarily. And as we get into Monday morning, still dealing with problems. And then the cold will not let up. A record low in the forecast for Tuesday morning, for example. We do get back to 16 there as we head into the afternoon. 10 for your high temperature next Wednesday, 8 on Thursday, 8 again for Friday. And there are some signs as we go into February that will moderate closer to normal. Not normal, not above normal for sure, but at least back to more manageable levels of cold as we get into early February. All right, looking here at the comments, just a couple here. Ed says, bring me a foot of snow. Andrew saying, when is the next model update? So we have models updating pretty much all the time. We have what we call the 12Z model runs. That is 12 Zulu time. So that is essentially noon universal time as well. And for us, that is 7 a.m. So that is 54 minutes ago. And that's when the data here is pooled. It goes into those next models there, and then they run from there. It does take time to run through all these formulas and calculations. So we'll start getting those updates here probably in about an hour and a half on some of them. And then the others, the European computer model, for example, won't actually finish running until like 1 o'clock this afternoon. So that'll be the next batch here that we're all kind of eyeing and watching to see if there's been any adjustments there with that track all together here. And then Brian saying crappy cold weather and lots of snow. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. All right, 7:55 this morning. I've got just a few minutes to get back into the studio for our live CW show, where we'll have more updates there. You feel free to join me if you're wanting more weather information. Regardless, though, we got the whole team here that'll be watching and tracking things, and we'll keep you updated all the way through the weekend and beyond. Thanks for joining me here this morning, and have a great weekend.